Gazing at the cabin, nestled neath the trees, whispers of the ancients, carried by the breeze. Guitar strings are humming, firelight aglow. Legacy forgers, it's time to let go. For tonight we dive deep into realms unknown. With plant missions guidance, our spirits have grown. Tribe experience calls as the stars do shine. In this quantum dance, the universe is thine. Dragons we have battled, demons we've defied. Through the darkest valleys and mountains we've climbed. Now we stand united, warriors of the heart. For love is our armor, and this is just the start. Dragons we have battled, demons we've defied. Through the darkest valleys and mountains we've climbed. Now we stand united, warriors of the heart. For love is our armor, and this is just the start. Mystical moments as the fire crackles near. Laughter and some tears as we conquer our fear. Epic is the journey of the soul's wild ride. With the legacy forge, we take it all in stride. For tonight we ascend to dimensions so vast. Embracing the future, honoring the past. Tribe experience beckons as the flames dance high. In this cosmic embrace, we touch the sky. Stories of resilience, tales of rebirth. Legacy forgers, we know our worth. From challenges faced to the love we found. In this sacred space, our spirits are unbound. There's no stop. So here by the cabin, as night turns to day, we'll remember this moment, come one may. For in the heart of nature, with the fire's warm embrace, we found our true calling in this mystical space.
All right. We have just
Right.
yeah, we've been on a journey. I've been looking forward to this podcast, this episode, this stream ever since we figured out we were gonna have it, like last night. And the stories that are gonna come from this one, because it's so intentional, is going to blow a few people away. I think I'm gonna be a little bit mind blown because it's gonna lead into different things. But for all of you people who've just seen this mysterious person, this mysterious legacy forge reveal card, this is him. You've seen him before. This is Marcus Blackburn. I'm gonna let him tell the story because now we're gonna get an origin story that is just gonna be the first little step in an epic saga that is just gonna officially start again now. Because we have goals, we have adventures, we have a lot of stuff going. Welcome to the Forging a Legacy podcast, Marcus.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for the wind up at the start.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good to be on here with everyone as well. And yeah, it's funny just the way that conversations do take place, and definitely a lot of vibes that go into that to actually bring people with like minds into a space where, you know, you feel like you can speak openly about, you know, about life and different challenges that people go through, and also more importantly, like getting to where you want to be. And there's definitely like a massive process that goes on that, or goes with that. And just, yeah, I just want to thank you guys as well, just for having me on here. And just, it's been a wild ride of a relationship from, you know, the first time that we touched base, which was like 3 years ago. And yeah, it's just straight off the board, man. I'm so grateful for that because yeah, it's definitely given me a lot of kind of clarity, and also the fact that there are other people out there that do have this passion that they want to kind of do firstly for yourself, because you know when your cup's filled up and you're filled with love and everything and passion for the things that you want to do, then like that just spills over, and then you can just do so much for other people, and it's just like that's where it comes from. But I know that from my life experience, definitely some people do go through some things, and some of those things are just under the surface, and it takes a little bit of courage and definitely a few people on the same wavelength to kind of be able to deal with that. And then once you deal with that, you start kind of opening the box that is kind of human development and programming, and then that gives you access to so much more stuff that you can just, I mean, even just starting to talk about it, it's a book that I was never really that willing to open when I was younger, and then once you open it, it just really does open up um, another facet to life that's just really fulfilling once you can kind of get into it and then realize what's actually possible. Um, Firstly, like what's holding it back, because we all have these things, man, and we all have some things that we kind of possibly drag around from the past, and then just being able to clear that energy out and being in a group of people that actually are supportive and actually know the process and all have their own individual experiences and wisdom on these things, and pulling that together is just so cool. It's just not something that maybe if you're lucky you get it in traditional families, but normally no. um, and then as people start getting older, you'll find that your friend groups change, and that's completely fine. Like you can still hang out and go and do all the fun stuff that you've had with your friends, but everyone kind of gets taken on a different path. And then if you're facing challenges that the people around you or your original support system hasn't got the tools to be able to deal with, or you don't feel safe in expressing that or kind of going through that, then there's definitely something important about having a few people that have that knowledge and the wisdom, or even just like an unjudgmental ear that can kind of like let you free yourself up to be able to express some of this stuff. Because otherwise we tend to, as human beings, we tend to push a whole lot of stuff down, and that's my from my experience anyway, that's my view of where anxiety and these kind of other issues come from, that we don't actually understand because we don't get taught these things through parents or through schools or this kind of stuff. It's like some kind of a passage, a rite of passage that you kind of stumble on through your own struggles that you may or not have. And then if you don't have the right tools to deal with it at the moment, at that time, it's just a matter of kind of stumbling through it. And then like if you're lucky, just find people who are on the same wavelength that can shine a light in the places that you can't actually shine a light on yourself. And then from there, just magic can happen in the way that you see a different part of yourself, and then you're willing to share yourself with other people at such a deeper level.
Yeah, at the core level. Yeah, but I've seen so many stories lately of people going through this similar evolutions. That's what's fascinating me the most. Most people have like different stories, different experiences, different lives, of course, but the evolution is often the same. So seeing right now we're in the Ragnarok, the end of the old, the beginning of new. Vibestar is even she's actually wearing war paint, and it is so freaking fitting because it is the
Yeah,
infinite.
we should definitely give Vibes. I mean, I'm sure everyone knows Vibestar. Like I'm a mysterious one who hasn't really shown up, but like, does Vibestar want to do a little bit of a self intro for people who haven't, um,
Oh fuck.
you know, seen this little shining star?
Oh. Why did you do that? Uh,
we
I can
we
I can say
challenge.
we can have
I
one.
saw Todd's face. Did
Yeah.
I say the wrong thing?
Oh no no no.
no, that's okay. Actually, I haven't introduced myself. I work in the shadows, you know? I'm a shadow worker.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I usually just talk with the tour and the private conversations. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm in a process. I'm having a project like I call it the Inferno. I'm cleaning out my house. It's actually just a declutter, like a purge. But I'm going for the what would I save if my house burned down?
Yeah.
Instead of taking every item and should I keep it? Should I save it? I'm just burn it. I'm not thinking about the environment. I'm not thinking about selling things. I'm not thinking about salvaging or how can I use this. I'm just get the fuck rid of it. Get rid of all
I
the energies and the past and the traumas and yeah, in a physical way.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
totally. That's so funny because I was just telling Tor today, like part of what I've been doing here as well is doing pretty much the same thing, like just to quote a quote from Fight Club, like we buy a whole lot of meaningless shit that we don't need, to and then the things you own end up owning you. And in a way, it's a bit of an extreme quote, but in another way, when you kind of think about it, like all the stuff that you have, it sits there and it takes up space, and then it declines over time or like deteriorates over time, and then you're stuck with these things that are just there, and that's what I've been doing as well, just donating all my clothes and stuff like that, because I mean, seriously, a lot of the clothes and that kind of thing, I haven't used them for about 2 years. And if in that process of just throwing everything out, like you have like a clear space, minimalist kind of space, you feel more, I think you feel more spacious as well, like inside. When you don't have to look at all this stuff, like clamming up your area.
Yeah.
So I
And
think
I
that's a
believe
super cool.
all this stuff is like reflecting our inner lives. And
Yeah.
I find that a lot of the items I given them stories, stories of the past, memories, stories of dreams and hopes for the future. And I find that a lot of the stuff, a lot of the stories, it's not about me. It's not authentic.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And so I'm trying to, some of the things that are hard to get rid of because they were supposed to be my career or, the dreams I had when I was younger. And I found this mental exercise where I can think of multiple universes and all my timelines, all the versions of me. And I can take that stuff and sort of transfer it to that other timeline where it's actually have some use and value and let go of it here. And I
Yeah.
also ask the things if they are, because I give the items value, like they have a life, they have a purpose, and they done their purpose. They learned. I learned a lesson, you know,
It's so
and
interesting you say
it's
that.
time to say goodbye. Yeah, I'm
Yeah, because we
I'm
do
gonna
give
free
these
myself
things,
now.
and
Yeah,
yeah, very cool. I, I look forward to hearing your
it's also
hearing
about
as it's going.
autonomy. You know, we can't let, like you said, the possessions possess us. You know,
Mm.
they rule our everyday life, sort of. So it's about the autonomy. I'm not gonna be owned by stuff.
Mm.
Or like I said to
Yeah,
Tor, I'm not gonna deal with things.
Mm.
but
I
like
want to deal
one
with
thing you said that
spirits.
one thing
Yeah,
you said that I'm taking into my little toolbox as well, which is really cool, is that you said that these things, we give them like some kind of an identity, and that's the same thing that I've been going through. It's like part of it's painful. Like I had to actually have a friend come around in my house, and like she didn't do much, but she just sat there and was like, what about this? Is this going as well? And I was like, the first part of me was going, okay, this is something that like whatever, for my work or something that I actually like really valued. It was part of my identity or image at that time, like maybe a piece of clothing or something like that, or like letters and things like that, which I used to hold on to. And like energetically it was kind of hard, but once you kind of made the decision and all that stuff was gone, although I like threw out thousands of dollars worth of stuff and donated what I could, I'd rather do that and it to be gone than actually having to go through the process of kind of like putting it in a box, hanging onto it. I kind of know it's there in some part of my mind, and I'd rather it not be there. And when it's not there, it frees up so much more space. You don't see those things, and then you have more kind of energy to put into where you're actually going or what you
Yeah.
actually want to create when that stuff
Yeah.
is just gone. And it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter how much money you kind of lose over it. I think definitely there's yeah, it's kind of out with the old and with the new, but Chinese, they've got a Chinese prophecy that's even more philosophical about it. It's like if you don't get rid of some of the old stuff, there's no room for the new stuff.
Very true.
And that's in as far as possessions and relationships and our own kind of you know, personal development and emotional development as well, which is I think one of those really important places to get to. Otherwise, you just feel like you're kind of cluttered up. And even relationships, even family. I'm not saying that family is like you know bad or good, but some relationships when they're actually kind of not serving you, you've got to. It helps to be able to make the decision whether to just are you going to put it in a box and just leave it there, although even though you know that the conversations or the relationships are not totally authentic or not giving you energy, or are you just going to go, look, there's nothing to do with you, it's nothing to do with me, it's just not working at the moment, and just to make some decisions like this. So that's something that I've definitely been learning in the last little while, because for a long time I was at a point where with my career and my relationships, I was feeling a lot of pressure and a lot of the outside pressure of that to kind of look after everything and keep it there and then be the mediator and be the person who's making sure that everyone else is okay and not stepping on everyone else's toes. I was like, it was just making me super tired and sapping the energy from me. And then it's taken a while, hasn't it, Tor? It's taken a while, but once I've got to that place of just being okay with letting things go and just it's small steps, but it does really help to open up new spaces.
Yeah. 100%. And it just feels right now, right? It's like now is the time to go through that transformation. It's weird. It's pressing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna do the small steps. I'm just gonna fucking burn it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Gonna be the dragon and just not think about it. Just get rid of all that energy that is holding me back.
And you will feel so much better when you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you got a tribe to support.
There's so much more space.
Yeah. We're gonna fire you on and make sure that go through the inferno.
And it's also about creating that space for my spirit, sort of filling my home with my spirit from the inside, and make the home a reflection of my authentic
Expression.
self. Yeah. To not live in my head anymore and not just exist in secret inside of me, but actually manifest myself and
I think that
expand my energy fields in a way.
Yeah.
the only last thing that I think of value that I could offer on this is that part of it's just getting rid of that stuff, but in the process of it, I think part of it's also we do give ourselves kind of guilt about letting go of some things because we feel that we should be having more responsibility towards those things. For example, relationships that kind of aren't really serving us. For me, it was like, how do I be that person? Am I like selfish to actually cut this person off, or not cut this person off, but just keep my distance from that, or to like throw out stuff of like old dreams or things like that. There's kind of that tie as well. So I think when you're doing that stuff, yeah, just keep in check with yourself as long as you're not having this kind of guilt of like, oh, I'm throwing away part of the stuff and like I owe other people or I owe these things something. They've served my purpose for a reason in my past, and that's great. But like now, there's things that I want to do, and I want to create space for more. So
Yeah. And I'm done with the guilt. I'm done with the shame. I'm done with everything other people has put onto me. And sort of the guilt I feel I have to deal with is I feel like I'm throwing away a part of my identity, and I feel like my journey has been really, really, really tough, and I fought so hard, and it's like I have to pay tribute to that somehow, and by just throwing away the past, I sort of I feel I take away some of that resilience.
I think
This
that
was hard to put into words, but yeah, like I diminish or minimize what I've gone through, but the point is to manifest for the future, you know.
I
So
think it's a strength. I don't think it's a weakness. I mean, not many people can do that or are aware enough that the stuff that they've got or the the things that they have or some of the relationships that they've got are kind of not serving them and they don't have the strength to actually do anything about it. But I mean, there's nothing
it
wrong
feels
with
like I'm
clearing
letting
space
go
for
of
new things.
myself, like I'm letting go of myself, but it's not my true self. I'm letting go of all the false parts of me, all the images that are not me.
Yeah, that's cool.
So I
Definitely.
just have to stay focused on that, and I'm doing this for autonomy, authenticity, and my purpose. And I don't have to intellectualize it. I don't have to find a cognitive. I don't have to find a rational reasons, because I just know this is the right thing. I need to do this, or else my spirit is dying. So if I don't do this, I can just give up, and I don't know how to give up. So
Good girl.
thank you. So I'm gonna go. Right now.
You have
I
work to do.
have a dumpster. I have a work to do. Yeah, I rented a dumpster, for 2 days. So I have to ignite the fire and just burn the shit to the ground. So thank you for thank you for this talk, and
Thank you.
yeah,
Yeah,
see
nice
you
to meet
later.
you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
See you soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
So yeah.
All right. Yeah, so there's a lot of similarities, a lot of Ragnaroks happening at the same time. And for me, it was simple. I was just gonna change a few realities around me. And then maybe just my entire rest of my life. And it has been hard to figure out which steps to take, but it's been looking at my face. Like it's been right there all along. If I was one thing that I found is that when that need arises to just purge, just find calm in that chaos and just let it be, everything just works out. Everything is already there for some reason, and just here we are. I don't think we
Yeah.
have really gone through our story basically, and how we
Yeah,
found
let's
each
do
other.
that.
Yeah, but also because I have this vision where I want to create this epic study of your journey, like a case study, like almost like one of those missing persons files. When you have that folder and a
Yeah.
picture and some some post-it notes on the wall with some threads between them. I really want to go deep.
Brad Pitt 7 style.
Yeah, yeah. Because
Yeah. Yeah. Everyone's got a story.
Yeah. Where do you want to begin? Because we started when the world stopped beginning.
Yes, we did.
We started that. Yeah, we met each other during the last Ragnarok, which everyone felt, where the whole world just stopped during 2020. And from there,
Well, if I mean, because I know part of what the reason for the live is tonight was for you to be able to kind of have something that you can kind
yeah,
of edit. So I don't want to be, I don't want to go on too many tangents with you at the moment. So like, if you wanted to kind of be like that, dude, I'm so sunburned. It's like freaking me out. Anyway, I'm just gonna get over that. But um, like, yeah, if you want to like have a just throw some questions at me, and if you've got kind of like a bit of a
yeah,
process that you've got in your mind about how you want the conversation to go,
yeah,
and then we can keep it into a format that people listening will not get too bored.
yeah. Now that's also the beautiful part about this, because what's being shared now, that's also one of the things about everything that we do. It's like the things we create are more for ourselves than for others. And because it's just us doing us, people resonate. It's like they're hanging with buddies, right? But in terms of a format, how about quickly recap where you were, a brief stop in at where you are, a little bit about where you're going, which ties into what we're planning. Because then we have like a
Mm.
timeline that goes in tangent with a lot of other stories that is going to merge.
Okay. So you mean as far as my personal development journey goes,
Yeah.
or as far as basically my life,
Yeah,
like
let's say like frequency
frequency style?
yeah, frequency
Okay.
style.
So I think the basically I want to get an intro into this. Basically, I was going through a tough time at the start of COVID. My work wasn't really serving me, and that had been giving me quite a lot of stress,
Yeah.
even before COVID started. And then being being overseas and just being kind of cut off and missing the window to actually get back home during COVID. Um, like the isolation was quite a massive thing for me to deal with. And then at that point, because because of my work, it was quite a public work. So I basically had an online image, which meant that I felt quite isolated, not even through COVID, like the restraints of COVID, but through the fact that I was kind of, some kind of heavy feelings and stuff like that was coming up for me, and I was getting anxiety, which I never had before,
Mm.
and that kind of just gave me more isolation because I felt that because I had this online image or to do with my work that I couldn't really I didn't have a safe place to express myself, um, and so I felt extra isolated for that. So that was when I think we met online. It was like a Tony Robbins page of like a business page
Mm.
that I've been keeping tabs on, and everyone was introducing themselves, and I just thought like uh, I feel kind of safer like talking about myself to a whole group of strangers than a whole lot of other people who had known me for a long time and had this kind of image of me or this these opinions of me. And then that started off the journey with Tor. And we just kind of connected on that, and it was such a refreshing feeling to be able to kind of just first of all kind of talk about stuff that I'd been going through, and then hear little parts about Tor's story, and a lot of parts of the world. I think we talk about mental health in a way that almost stigmatizes it a little bit. I think like mental health is basically just life.
Mm.
It's things we go through. and sometimes we have the tools to deal with them, and sometimes we don't. And sometimes we get stuck, and or we're not showing up authentically because of the restraints of our work or other social pressures and everything like that. So we act in certain ways to, it's kind of putting a tool belt down when you're going to like renovate your house, and some people kind of don't know how to take it off in their personal lives, and that was just making me quite stressed out. So at that point, it was just a low point in my life, and I felt that I wasn't able to talk to family about it. I wasn't really able to talk to my friends about it. I didn't feel safe venting about it online because at that point I was just still really, really unsure because I hadn't experienced anxiety before. Those kind of, I'll be a little bit more specific, just kind of being on camera or being out with friends, and like kind of social anxiety and this kind of stuff. I'd never experienced it before, so I thought there was something wrong with me. And then that was just a really bad way to go down with it, because normally now, from my experience, I think that things like anxiety comes up because in some parts of our life we're not showing up authentically. We're carrying some stuff around, whether it be expectations of our parents or social conditioning or things like this, or the pressure of social media to be something that we're not. And like the fashionable thing today that a lot of people are just feeling is that it's kind of not okay to be okay, whereas we're born with all these emotions, and there are ways of like processing and working through these things that are actually completely normal and healthy. And to not be in an environment or not have people around you who can go, look, there's nothing wrong with you. You might have some stuff that you've got to deal with, but once you deal with this stuff, then this is going to clear up.
Yeah.
So that was basically when I met Tor. And then from that period, it was just things normally get worse before they get better. So it's when you go down the path, if you're feeling like your life's not fulfilling you, and you're feeling like a little bit off, and you're feeling that there's something else more for you to do, and you can be more, and you're not free in some different ways, then there are definitely going to be reasons for that. And it takes, I think, quite a lot of courage to kind of go back through your past and identify some of the factors that might have something to do with that. And it's some things that you'll find out about yourself and maybe a little bit scary, or maybe things that you don't feel comfortable talking about, or it's bringing up some past memories and things like that. But in order to actually like move on or progress, I think it's quite necessary to like bring up that stuff so you can have a look at it in a different light, and then kind of reframe it in a way, and then that kind of gives you the answers to how you want to continue, and then free up some space for yourself, and stop blaming yourself for different mistakes, or letting go of situations that kind of aren't your authentic self, because that's basically the only way through it. So it's pretty uncomfortable. So that was like 2 years through COVID with me, where I was basically stuck in a city apartment, and the only person that I really had was kind of Tor to actually call on and be like a be an ear to listen to me and give me like advice. And then kind of, I think it's the reassurance when you're going through things that kind of challenge your identity, whether it's like a breakup, a marriage breakup, a change of job, the fact that you're just not happy with your current position, maybe environmental changes,
Mm.
like these kind of things, it does kind of throw you into a little bit of a spin, and to, you've just got to have some support there.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that's one of the most important things, because otherwise you can kind of feel like you're kind of losing your shit a wee bit,
Yeah.
which is very disconcerting.
Especially alone.
So that was basically, yeah, definitely alone. So that was basically the 2 years of COVID. And then from there, it was definitely some things that I should have done, or I could have done that could have been different, that could have helped me along for anyone else who's listening. But I think that at that time, I was giving myself a lot of pressure, because that's always been the way that I've done things. I've just put myself under a lot of pressure to make sure that everyone else around me is okay, and also to make sure that I'm almost people pleasing in that way, which has been part of my job, and there was a lot of pressure going through that. I think going on the internet and self-diagnosing yourself with a whole lot of different things does a lot more harm than good. It's like basically having something wrong with your body, and then you're throwing every different kind of medication at it at the same time, and it's just not specific. There's so much stuff in the personal development space and then on social media that when you're already facing challenges, as I said, it could be anything, relationships or work changes, and it's putting you into a space where you might be a little bit isolated. Maybe you feel depressed, anxious, but then when you're already in that state and you go on the internet and try and self-diagnose yourself, I mean, it's just, you can, anything to do with, I hate to use these words because I believe that they're like manifestations of past trauma or things that we haven't dealt with yet. So it's okay to call it, depression or something, but you go and Google depression, you don't feel like you're getting out of bed. Maybe your appetite changes. You feel a little bit anxious. You're not super happy. You can put these things into the internet, and you can get you get whatever,
Age 15
anxiety.
cancer.
Whatever you could get, you could get cancer, you could get whatever, like bipolar disorder, you could get like schizophrenia, you could put anything of these things, and then when you're kind of going through and you're in a stressful situation and you have some of these symptoms, or you're not sleeping, then you Google all that stuff, and then you have to deal with all these things, these diagnoses that the internet's throwing up on. It's just don't go there.
No, don't go there. It's
Don't go there. I mean, if you're strong enough to go there and come out the other side, you're going to learn a lot. But I think there's a real big possibility of kind of getting lost in the middle of that and making your situation worse.
Yeah.
Than it could be. So that's something from my experience I wouldn't advise to do. I'd say just turn the internet off. I think part of the problems that people are having in the world today, especially with like low self-esteem and comparing themselves to other people, there's so much to do with social media, and then like self-diagnosing yourself on the internet. We're pretty intuitive as human beings. Kids, little babies grow up, they don't have these doubts of themselves. They don't have these things of like, am I good enough? Am I loved? Like, am I doing the right thing? Is it okay to, be my true self? And so I think that definitely be really careful with information that we consume. It definitely has to be of a high quality, and then it's just that, in my experience, definitely going through stressful times, we're sometimes not the best curators, or we're not the best compass when it comes to what's best for ourselves at the time. So there's definitely a bit of vulnerability that comes into that, and then you are open. You're a little bit more open to different self-diagnoses and all this kind of stuff that could, I mean, just it's not the root cause.
Yeah.
For me anyway. I think whenever I've gone through and I've undone my anxiety and the times where I've felt like super shit, there's always been some stuff that's been going through the past that I've needed to shine a light on, because it's really hard to make changes when you can't identify what's causing the problem. I make the analogy of it's kind of like you've got like I used to go surfing. When you cut yourself on your foot, it's like you got to put a band-aid on it, and then you go into the water again, and then the wound opens up. It's like you're not dealing with the root cause. It's like just stay out of the water for a week, make it heal, or you're not gonna. It's not. I think a lot of what we're doing in medicine and in mainstream self-development is fixing the symptoms, not the actual cause. There's so many books about like whatever. If you're not feeling confident, and then you go and do some Andrew Tate course or something, even something different from that, and they'll tell you, oh, you have to stand up straight, and then you have to have your chin down, then you have to speak slowly, and then you have to look the person in the eyes and all this stuff. Dude, you're not feeling confident because maybe you've been through a shitty time. You haven't had parents who have given you self-love or given you love, and you don't really know how to love yourself. You standing up there and doing all this kind of thing, it's just putting more fuel to the fire, because now you have to, you're in your head even, at the first place, and then you have to take these skills and then do this, which gets you even more in your head when you're supposed to be, in your heart, and you're supposed to be kind of speaking your truth, and you're supposed to be going, well, I'm not perfect, and I'm just speaking my truth and being me. And then that's where confidence comes from. It's not these little add-ons that people are going to be selling you on the internet. So I think definitely getting to the root cause of things, and I think that's been something that Tor's really helped me with as well along the time, because it's just, I think it's such a painful thing to get into these add-ons for confidence or how to be a good salesman. You have to have these psychologies about or doing all this stuff, and then when you work out, everyone's had someone trying to sell them something on the street or on the phone or something like that. The people who are actually passionate about the stuff that they're selling to you, they don't have this neediness about whether you actually buy this thing or not. It's just they believe in their product. You look at the person, they're enjoying their job because they're selling something that they think is providing value to other people. And dude, it's like, give me your money now. Yeah. You don't have to be sold to. So I think everybody going down, if there are people going down these roads of these add-ons to your personality to correct things that are not symptomatic and not the root cause, then it could help you in the short term, but it's just going to take you further away from authenticity. And that's basically our end goal, because when you're authentic, there's no reason to have anxiety. You've done the work. When you're authentic, there's no reason to have low self-confidence, because you've done the work and you're not uncomfortable in your own skin. And you've developed some sort of self-love, hopefully. And then that's where it's okay to, mistakes are fun things that happen. Like, you can make a joke out of it and not just feel like someone's kind of like stabbing you and you're just going, oh no, like my ego's like at risk at the moment. Like, I've got to kind of do this and stand up straight or whatever. Like, I'm so over all that kind of stuff, man. But that was a little bit of a tangent, which we always do.
Yeah, but
So
they're not really tangents either. Just painting a bigger
no,
picture of the context. Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So that was definitely a massive isolation period for me during COVID, and I really lost my faith in the world and humans because I've always been pretty close with my family, and at that time, I think everybody's family was kind of fighting to get them out of overseas countries.
Mm.
I wasn't in the best country for like government support. We had zero. My work was completely out the window because we had to wear masks, which and it was just this feeling of I don't know how long this is going to be. It's like I've never really had to hold up my hand and ask for help from family and everything, and then possibly because they're so used to me being able to stand on my own 2 feet and things like that, they didn't think it was a big deal. But I was dealing with a lot of stuff at that time, and I think people have, if you're somewhat intelligent, then when you're stuck in a confined space and you're isolated, then your mind can start kind of working against you, and it's not just a good situation to be in. And so the people that I thought that I could trust or lean on just to get a break, and be part of a family and things like that again, I wasn't able to. I didn't have that, and then because of the nature of my work, I wasn't feeling comfortable with sharing my feelings with other people. I had a couple of close friends, but I live in a different culture as well.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that was a big, I'm thinking like, do I really want to let people know about kind of what's going on? And if I do, can they help me in some way? Or is it just going to make the relationship like awkward?
Yeah.
So that was a super, super, super hard time for me. And then, as I said, going through all the diagnoses online, that you want to find a way to, fix things, to feel better, to go like, feel like yourself again, to feel like that energy and that passion for life. And then that. But I think that this is just something that the world has thrown at me, and it's given me such a deeper level of understanding of the things that people do go through. And also, I'm in a way better position to help other people to navigate the same things. And the amount of empathy and humility that you get from really just digging into those deep parts of yourself that you find a lot out about yourself, and it's not going to be a comfortable ride all the time. But I think there's nothing more fulfilling than going through that and then kind of starting to come out the other side, and really know who you are and what you can deal with, and then you're capable of so much more. And I don't think you get that if you haven't really gone through massive challenges or
Rites of passage.
yeah.
Yeah.
Fast forwarding to today, that was 2 years of COVID, and then like I'm just going to be completely honest at that point, like from going through so much stress, I was worried, like, do I have some kind of like condition? And so I just got assessed by like a psychiatrist, and then luckily, or not luckily, I'd be happy with anything. At that time, I just wanted to know why I was experiencing so much anxiety, why I was kind of going outside and not feeling comfortable in my own skin and not being able to express myself. And so I would have been happy with any diagnosis, but he just said, look, man, you've just been through a shitty time and you give yourself way too much pressure. And that's where your anxiety is coming from. And you've had parents that haven't taught you how to take care of yourself and how to have self-love, and this is just something that a pill or anything like that is not going to help you
No.
with. So that was when I was like, okay, shit, I can't blame it on a diagnosis. I can't go and sit in the hospital for a few months. I can't go take a pill. It's all on me. And like that's where the same thing, where Tor's been like a rock for me as far as this kind of thing goes, because just even having someone who's non-judgmental and has been through the whole process, and this is basically his passion and his life purpose that you spend hours and hours and hours on. And I think Tor's got a story as well, and I think this comes from a compassion that, like, the world that we live in, if people were a little bit more compassionate and a little bit kinder to people and a little bit more aware, that people would just not have to struggle as much. They wouldn't go through these mental cycles of like depression and anxiety and things like that. Or even if they did, they'd have people there to kind of put them on the road. And it's like, from me, when I was going through like COVID and I was at like a really low point in my life, my performance as far as everything, like ability to work, ability to sleep properly, ability to express myself, ability to be myself, ability to, or motivation, is like less than 20%. So if you think of the average person that's not as in such a stressful level, but still unaware of a lot of stuff, you could probably optimistically say that they're running at 50 or 60%. Why run at 50 or 60%? Like, there's once you actually kind of do go on these journeys of finding out all these things that are kind of, maybe some of them are subconscious, some things are holding you back, and find out the possibilities that you can be if you can actually just step into yourself a little bit more, and like bring back those passions and things like that. Not necessarily, I'm not saying like when you're a little baby, if you loved like crayon drawings on paper, I'm not saying like, as an adult, go and take out some paper and crayons. I mean, it might be a cool thing to do, but it's like that passion, it's that passion that you felt that you were doing that. It's still accessible, but it's just that there's so much stuff that we get put on us by careers, by people who have been hurt before or have given up on dreams or love or kindness or authenticity.
Hell yeah.
And then that does get into us on some level, and just finding a way to free yourself from that definitely is what, like, I guess personal development's about. But I think that mainstream personal development, it's just, it's throwing the whole kitchen sink at some things that are quite specific. Everybody's got their issues, and that's why I still think that like courses are really helpful, but also these kind of one-on-one things where even live streams where people can be able to ask some questions. I don't pretend to be a psychiatrist, but I think that life experience, when you really do take it on yourself and go into those depths of things like that, there's massive similarities, in human psyche and the progression and programming, and most things do come back to things that have happened, during your life or childhood, that to actually kind of look at these things and undo it, and then free yourself up from them. So yeah, that was the end of COVID, and then I thought that things were getting a little bit better. I was still very much um, on my process or my journey, and then I decided to leave my job at that point. Well, I didn't really have a job because it was COVID, but leave my original job
Yeah.
and then go to Japan. And I was just working as like a personal ski instructor over there because nature, right?
Yeah.
And that was super good. But one thing I've learned is that if your system, if your nervous system is in like fight or flight, and if you haven't kind of dealt with some of the stuff, no matter where you go, you're there.
Yeah.
So that's for everyone who thinks that if they're going through some pretty heavy feelings and stresses and things like that, thinking that just up and moving to another place is going to fix your problems, it's just not.
Really, the
Because
external.
yeah, it's you're just changing the external, all those same feelings. It might be a new thing that's gonna give you a breath of fresh air for a while. But if you haven't really done the self work and the self care and everything like that before you do jump into those new situations, before long you're going to find yourself back in the same situation. Like, I hate to say it, I wish there was easy fixes for things like this, but in my experience, there's just not. It's really like um, a personal journey that you have to, really dig deep and then go with, and then hopefully have some people that are, these little angels on your shoulders that can give you different perspectives and like guide you to actually ask the right questions for you to get the right answers for yourself and not get yourself into like a more stressful situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's, I don't know how deep I've gone. There's probably stuff that I could have gone a lot deeper with.
We will. I will set up a whole thing so we can kind of dig into your chapters, basically. But right now, because right now there is a lot of things happening, and yesterday and earlier today we talked about things. We have a lot of ideas. Where you're coming to Norway for the first time ever, we're gonna meet each other face to face, and
Yes.
I think that from what we have done so far together, you have helped me, by the way, a whole fuck ton while we're doing this. Like the whole balance, the whole equilibrium between two like minds, where you see different perspectives of each other. You're able to help each other out of different things. So we started off as two strangers, became friends, became family, and then became brothers in arms, basically. And now,
Yeah.
with everything of that behind us, all the adventures we have in front of us, do you think if we had put this into a I don't really know how to ask this question because it's so in the moment, intuitive, and as you say, it's like there's something different when you talk eye to eye. When you're looking at a person, you're talking directly to a person with experience and all that stuff. So with the types of experience that you had, and I'm saying like experience, the conversations we've had, if you felt down, feel up at the end of it, what do you think? I'm gonna test you and myself with this question because I'm sleep deprived, so I don't know what's gonna come out of my mouth. We've only done this on the phone or on the like online so far. What do you think could happen if we took what we've seen so far into the physical world? With what we have planned in terms of legacy vans and freaking adventures and road tripping and setting up these different gatherings and you name it.
I just think there's so much stuff that's I wish people could, it could be completely biased. There could be like 70% of the world could be completely happy with their jobs and their relationships and everything like that. If you are, like, dude, you won the lottery. Like, really, congratulations, because there's nothing wrong with that. But what I see is a generation that has lost their passion for life and that has lost their inner child and is constantly comparing themselves to like shit online that is nothing to do. I mean, you are giving people money by looking at things that society has for their own material gain. They've been telling you that you need to have as a successful person. Every time you click, every time you open up your Instagram and follow these people, you're not getting anything from it. Maybe you're getting some ideas of like a nice holiday place to go to, but normally you get off and feel like crap because you've got like whatever 20 days of annual leave a year. So there's just so much stuff that I think that people really need to ask themselves the question that how conditioned are you? And if you want to ask that question, don't reach out to Talk, he's busy as fuck. But I'd almost be happy to like answer some of those questions. But like the whole platform that Tor's set up is for people to go through. It's for you, like the normal person who's working a corporate job, who's just burnt out and their relationships are suffering and things like that. The normal person, there are these courses that are not, they're not trying to suck money out of you. They're just really designed to try to make your life better. And like I think even like the initial courses that you have, it's very like affordable, right? It's just and a lot of free content that's out there. So it's like if you vibe with this kind of stuff, no one's trying to, no one has anything to gain. I think people who have really got their heart in the right place and they've been through struggles themselves, and you're one of those people who just thinks like, God, that could have been like my kid, or that could have been my family, or that could have like, how could I help the world in some place, in some way, or even you don't have to say the world, like people that are close to you. How could I kind of ease their suffering, or just make them realize that they're the ones that are kind of holding themselves back, and there's so much more. So things like what you said with going to Norway and everything like that there's so much stuff to do, and it's just as Tor keeps saying to me, it's play. And that's something that we're forgetting. Players not making $1 million and going and getting a yacht and going to like Dubai and having a whole lot of models on your boat that you're paying for and like taking pictures on Instagram. If you don't believe me, try it out. But like, as far as it goes, like it's just not like really having real deep and meaningful connections with people. And I'm not just saying of like the opposite sex. It's like brotherhood and family and things like that. These kind of things are just so much more fulfilling than the other stuff. And I haven't said it before, but my work was in the entertainment industry for like 7 years, where I was really put in that limelight, and I had all that stuff. And I wasn't happy, and I don't want it to be a cliche. And for people who really don't believe me, go out and do it, and then come back to me in 10 years and tell me that I'm right or if I'm wrong. But like,
yeah, that's that's probably what got me most fascinated as we got to know each other. Your former work had you in a very specific perspective that not many people, like in general, can relate to. to be at that place where you are on the other side of that account on Instagram, like where you have that life where you have everything that people like assume they want, and then think that the grass is greener on the other side, and then there's a whole other world that they have not even considered on the other side. And that's where your perspectives are unique, and we're going to have a lot of different conversations about those specifically, because I think that really is something that people struggle with. They walk around in life with the freaking mask on, and they don't know how to take it off because they have been conditioned to wear that. That is who they are based on what other people have made them up to be, basically. Yeah.
Yep.
So far,
Yep. That's a
I have seen.
completely different.
Yeah, go on.
You go.
I love how polite we are. Like it's always like
I
we're
know.
British.
Just gets to the point, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so tired that I can't even think. This is one of the things that the reasons as to why we are doing this today is because in the whole process of Ragnarok, we're time collapsing, and a lot of people don't really, I don't think they entertain the thought of time collapse and what that really practically means, because what I've seen is that everything happens as long as you really focus on that thing. Like if you really set your mind to something and you go burn the boats and there's no way back, stuff is going to happen. And the more you do it,
Yeah.
the less that friction or that the tension is before you just think it, do it, right? And it feels like sometimes that you can think it accidentally and all of a sudden you jump past the thing that you were supposed to do, and then you work back and all of a sudden, shit, seems like I already did that. So we have something coming up now in 2 hours. There's gonna be a video that is released on the YouTube video or the YouTube channel. In there, I'm talking about specifically this moment that I'm talking about right now. But I talked about it yesterday. And as I was doing it, real time, I was reacting to things that was happening as I spoke. As I was making a video, I was getting these results of what I was talking about. It was pretty freaky, but I have that like all recorded. Here we are again, because there's one thing that I have not done. And it sounds weird to some, but if you create in the dark over a long period of time for years, you don't really see the forest for the trees. You might start losing faith in yourself because you're not seeing any traction. But this whole platform and everything has been built, and it's like I have to remind myself of it being valuable or not. So the last few days, I've had the thought that, I need to ask for feedback. I need to ask people what they think about the conversations, what they think about me, what they think about what we can provide, what they think is possible if there are no limits compared to what they've seen so far. And I wanted to ask you, like, if you were a normal student, like participant, player, whatever you want to call it, co-creator, what do you think of the experience so far? Also thinking that we have had nothing so far. We've only had conversations. I feel like we haven't even started yet. What would you say to people who does not even have any idea of what this is?
Just thinking about the best way to say it without going on massive tangents. It's basically like life education.
Yeah.
It's basically everything that you wish like a wise older uncle or grandfather or the schooling situation, the skills that these kind of people could give you that could completely take your life to a different trajectory, because we're just not taught these things. Unfortunately, our parents or the older generation, they come from a time where it's not really so. I mean, even personal development and that kind of a more holistic kind of a way was not fashionable. Um, so I think that, yeah, this stuff is pretty much for everyone who has that feeling that they don't even have to be, going through massive struggles. I mean, if you're not going through massive struggles, it's really a really good time to be able to do that if you've got the extra time to do it, because then you're a little bit more mentally free to really get into it, and then just push yourself, because the normal person out on the street, or this, I mean, for people who are listening in your own life right now, think about, I'm not going to say 5, think about the 7 people around you, or your workmates, or the other people that are around you that are basically like, your closest group. Are they calling you out on your bullshit? Are they, are they challenging you? Are they, do they really want you to be better? Do they speak the truth to you? Are they more able to kind of give you advice than your own advice? And then where does your own advice come from, and how good is that? And what are your limiting beliefs, or have you never even thought about them? Like these kind of things. Yeah, or your goals. And then with having goals is fine, but if you're self-sabotaging yourself because you've got shitty self-esteem from your family background or your peer group or anything like that, then you're not going to get your goals. Or you're going to get your goals, but you're not going to be, you're going to get them, and you're just going to be unsatisfied and think like, oh, why didn't I, I've worked so hard at this thing. Why am I not feeling better than I was before? So I think that there's different pieces to the puzzle, but you kind of have to have them in the right times, and in the right place. So I think that's what the Legacy Forge, that's what Torsby is constructing. It's not just reading some self-help book telling you to go after your goals and get up in the morning at 5 o'clock every morning and go and take an ice bath and be disciplined and all this kind of stuff. I mean, there's so much stuff that's just it needs to be in there as well. It's like the healthy self-love. I mean, self-love doesn't mean when you're feeling shit, go and buy a chocolate cake and sit on the couch and eat it. It actually means like if you really do care about yourself and love yourself, then you're going to want to take care of your body. So because I have self-love, I will exercise. It's not because it doesn't become something that I have to do to get discipline or to get this thing. It needs to be, this is who I am. I value myself, and this is why I exercise, or this is why I try to eat healthy, or this is why I find, some me time. These things are just, they need to be integrated together. So there's definitely kind of a little bit of shadow work to go through to work out, like, how are you limiting yourself, or how are you seeing the world that's not actually reality, or that has changed from the way that you showed up when you were a child, as far as like how much love do you give yourself and how much love do you give other people and how kind you are. Jealousy and the bad traits that they learn through adverse experiences if you're not careful, if you don't have like a roadmap. And so I think that basically this kind of an education, it's almost more important than our normal education. I can't remember who it was. Maybe it was Steve Jobs, or I think Gary Vaynerchuk or someone that said that the education system, like, he couldn't think of something that could last for 9 years and put so much time into, that could give someone so little as far as how to show up in the world and how to be a successful person. I'm not just talking about successful person as far as like wealth goes. It's about, being someone of like high integrity and value, and like really kind of loving yourself and like taking care of other people, and then, going after your dreams, and knowing how to navigate like your limiting beliefs or the fears that you have, and then make these into strengths and just go out and like have the coolest life that you can have, because that's how you were when you were a kid. Someone says, like, your friends go, oh, we're going to the beach tomorrow, or your dad says we're going camping tomorrow or something like that. You can't sleep at night. You wake up in the morning and you're just full of beans, like trying to go and do that stuff, or like playing sports and things. And that's part of what should be like that. So it's like, the education system's just not set up for that. Live stream, bro.
Welcome to the live internets. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. So
enough,
is there anything else that? Yeah.
I'm gonna.
What's daytime? I mean, it's dark outside for me now. It's like, yeah, I wish I could go back to daytime and go to the beach, but tomorrow maybe. Yeah. But yeah, is there anything else you want to add on that?
I think that this is a good.
What you add?
This is just the face reveal. Basically, we've seen it before, but this is a more intentional one. I don't think that most people have any idea of how this is going to play out. But I'm going to show more and more of what we're doing now as we go forward. And all I need from you before you go is, would you recommend the whole Legacy Forge to other people?
Oh, totally. I mean, there's so much kind of toxic stuff online that I mean, I don't want to. I'm not in the business of giving people crap.
Yeah. But I've seen, like, I've been talking to hundreds, so I know exactly what you mean, and this is what I want to fix: authenticity. Ooh.
It's like a commercial for. Yeah, well, you're going to the beach. I'm eating seafood, so it's
same but different. Yeah.
Yeah, like, I think just for anyone who's really trying to make some changes in their life, or get more clear on things, or just just get some more fun and adventure back in your life, and learn about this kind of thing, or just be a better parent for your kids. There's definitely work that needs to be done on yourself, and then maybe it's work at the first part of it, but once you kind of get through, you just, it's to learn so much in a space from people who are not 20 years old and think that self-development is like this thing that I can make a quick buck off by copying some Tony Robbins script or something like that. An actual community that people are going through together, and they're not just a community of people who are having a lot of issues. Like, the people who have worked through their issues, they're still in the community because they want to like help people through stuff. And these people are professionals, they're actors, they're lawyers, they're people who are successful, and everybody has their own different challenges. But like, to be able to pull all this stuff together and have it in that place, as well as a curriculum that you can kind of take on piece by piece, and then have facilitators that are able to kind of answer questions about, because everyone's things are a little bit more specific, to have people that can kind of help you with that. And it's just not, it's not in the same ballpark as anything else that's really kind of offered online, that, I don't know, promises you whatever, you're gonna make 10K a month in the next year, like next
Maybe even the
year,
next
like
90 days. Yeah.
yeah, but like it's not gonna you're not gonna get anything out of these cookie cutter scripts. And I think that if people are watching this, that means that they probably do have some interest in personal development. They've probably got a whole lot of questions and doubts and all this kind of stuff as well. And it's just yeah, I think everyone's been there, and that's why we're not 20 years old, or you're not 20 years old putting out content like this. It's really coming from a place of wisdom and knowledge, and really trying to help people because it's a collective thing. I mean, why is the movie like Pay It Forward so popular if people are just happy living their normal lives, walking down the street, not saying hello to people, or seeing someone crossing the road, not holding their hand, like an old person crossing the road, not helping their hand, holding their hand. Like, if people didn't want to be better or want the world to be a different place, then there wouldn't be so many people. You just go and watch a little movie and then you go back to your own shitty kind of values and behaviors. It's kind of like a change that happens in yourself, where once you see that and you get the value from it, then you're going to go out there and you're going to be helping other people. It doesn't mean that you have to be like a personal development coach or anyone like that. It means that you help your kids to have better confidence and self-esteem and love, and know how to communicate with them better without being triggered by your own triggers.
Yeah.
It's this kind of a thing. So
Grounding. Yeah. All I can say is that people will see a lot more of you, and as Marcus said, he's also part of this facilitator core team, if you will. So everyone who comes into this is going to meet everyone they see inside of this whole universe, and that's just going to get more and more epic, because we have been creating physical things to bridge the gap between the digital. We have been talking about technology in ways I have never done before, and right now it's just go time. That's literally where I'm at. I'm just gonna go and plunge myself in the ocean first because I need to wake up.
yeah, and the last thing is, like, I think for me it's so trust is such an important thing, and that's why I'd say to anyone who's watching this or just as curious, then do reach out, and because we're not people wearing suits that have done like a personal coaching course that's trying to like sell snake oil stuff out there. It's not even, I mean, I'm not even really trying to sell anything. It's just, get into the value of like seeing some free content, and if it vibes with you and you think you can get something out of it, then like just jump in. But like make it a commitment to yourself to kind of get educated about things, and then yeah, definitely, it's just
Starts with a spark. I
that's
usually
how it
say,
is.
yeah, because in the beginning I was selling a lot, and then I started to see the value of it. And then it was more of talking where we're at. Like right now, we're in the season of Ragnarok, and then we're going into Saga, and then we're going back into Exalted Hammer, and all these different things, and we talk about the specifics as we're in it. So it's like, well, we are here, thinking about getting a chopper at some point for the whole extreme tag, and then talking about how we're doing these games and how we're playing this life and all these things, and just inviting people to join if they want to, and if not, I'm probably going to figure out a way to do a kind of multi-camera setup intercontinentally on one stream. That should be possible in some weird fashion. But we can have these adventures and just quests and challenges. That's what life is about. It should be
I think
testing.
I think next time, I mean, I think we could probably do like a kind of a live stream or we could get a few people in, or have an event where maybe people who, you know, kind of are on the fence a little bit with some things can ask questions, or put their, you know, have kind of a Q&A or something like that. Might be quite a cool idea as well.
I'm actually going to start the first
Um,
Q&A this Thursday, tomorrow at noon my time, 6 p.m. your
mm,
time, 6 a.m. EST time. But yeah, I'm thinking the same thing.
yeah,
Having more Q&As, more events that actually invites people to ask their questions and see that we're real and we don't really bite. We could have invited all the people I wanted into the stream right now, but we have different containers for that as well. When people come in and share their deepest stories, I need to be prepared for those things. We have a lot of things, a lot of situations playing out. I love that. And also, by the way, with Marcus's experience and his sense of curiosity and creativity, what's going to come from us playing together is going to be very interesting to behold, because I think that we are both prone to, I don't know, trigger each other towards the positive way, like get people engaged and really just hype each other up and just create from that insane energy that's going to come from that.
yeah. There's so much fun to be had.
And
Just
so much fun we have already had. Like I have,
yeah,
blowing my mind. Thank you so much for being you. Seriously, I wish I could be more
uh,
upbeat right now, but I really underestimated the whole. Let's just go through the night and don't sleep, right? But it worked out. I feel like it worked out.
definitely, man.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for having me on here and to be able to, you know, share a bit of the story. And there's, you know, lots more to be had.
yeah, yeah. Thank you so much. Have a fantastic rest of your night. I will close off to share a little bit more about what's going to happen throughout today and tomorrow. And that's about it. That's all she wrote. The stories are kind of lined up. I don't have to
Yes.
do a lot. I've already said it.
Things flow, bro.
Yeah, they flow. They flow. All right. You say hi
Congrats.
to everyone I don't know yet, but I have seen his face before, so say hello. And I'll see you tomorrow, probably.
Sounds good.
Love you, bro. Bye.
You too, dude. Take care. Have a good beach session.
Bye, shop.
Sweet.
All right. I'm doing this kind of different now because I have to. I don't have the equipment, basically, to do it other ways. So we have a lot of things. I just want to talk to you a little bit about the why things look as they do, right? We have this, right? That didn't work because my face was on the other camera. The card is special. The card is an NFT as well. It's something that we are creating as we go, and the cards will have unique access codes. Access codes meaning that you will have different access in your, just because you have the card. And as we go towards Valhalla, the whole holistic development center, there's going to be a lot of things that we're going to keep under wraps and then keep open for the public. And because of these things, we're just going to continue to become more and more adventures. Me and Marcus talked about this earlier, where when you set goals, be careful not to set them too small, because if you reach them, then what? So we have set a huge goal, and because of that, everything that we create is basically just one step on that whole journey. So everything is just, it's a puzzle piece without borders, and it's just going to continue to evolve. So with that said, if anyone wants more information, you can go to thelegacyforge.com/tour. This is also very much for those people who have been on the fence, because we are heading into the purge. We had Vibestar talking a little bit about the Inferno earlier, where she's going through Ragnarok, the end of the old, the beginning of the new. And we are doing that with the server as well this year. So we are going to go in and we're going to remove all the inactive members. We're going to structure this in a way that makes sense, so that we have access to all the things. Everyone has access to what they need to have access to. We clear out the member base and we continue. All of this being said, me and Lawrence of Lunov of Black Diamond Process, all the way down to Florida, We're going from Taipei to Florida in one swing. We have been creating a lot of stuff lately. Stuff in the terms of multidimensional paradigm shifting conversations that goes into marketing in ways that I wasn't really. It was seeing marketing in a new way and transmuting energy and alchemical magic and a whole bunch of awesome experiences. This is also for the lone wolves of the world. So the lone creative who thinks that they're alone, but there's a pack out there for you. We have been talking a lot about that energy lately because it's going to become more and more and more and more and more powerful, and that is the reason that I'm shouting these days. If you really want to come and see how people act in a tribe, in a real tribe, where you actually feel part of something, which is why we don't. The whole process needs to be as strict as it is because we are very much aiming for having the best resonance and harmony inside of the tribe and inside of the community. We do have free stuff, we do have cheap stuff, we do have expensive stuff, and we do have the mid stuff. Right now we're in Ragnarok, the advanced, but not yet the highly. And I'm on a quest. You're not going to hear about that quest right now. You're going to hear it in an hour-ish. Let's see. Yeah. 1.5 hours from now, there's going to be a video that drops on the YouTube channel. That video is going to go through a few things that happens real time. I'm simply sharing like this. I'm going through a few things. I'm saying things. I don't deal with things, as we say. I've been going through a few heavy situations lately, a few heavy experiences, and that's why I'm kind of tired, because I've been working around the clock for the last few days, because it came from like lightning from clear sky. You're going to hear more about that in the video, but it's an epic journey. And with what just happened right now, it might not seem like it, but this energy that it was created right now, and was everything that has been set up in motion and that is about to go out there and hit the people, and the people that are already on the way in. Yesterday, last night, we also filled the AI Savant seat in the round table. That means that we do not have 7 seats left. We have 6. This person is so freaking insanely good. He's magic with AI and technology, with 3D, with everything creative and artistic. He is beyond. I'm not going to share a lot more about that because only the people in the core are going to meet those people, and we do that because we want to make sure that their privacy is taken care of and that we do not, there's a reason for this to be so tight. We don't deal with normal people. We deal with neurodivergence, and those people are very creative people who they change the world, and you're simply just seeing a little fractal of that. I need to go and toss myself into the ocean right now. If you find anything of this interesting, you know where to find us. We are looking forward to having you in on either Sparkspace or the round table, or simply inside of the Legacy Forge. We can meet up in the tavern, maybe around the bonfire. Maybe we can meet up around the actual bonfire, sing a few songs, have a fun time. Because that's what we're all about. So what I will say now is, see you in the next one.
Gazing at the cabin, nestled neath the trees, whispers of the ancients carried by the breeze. Guitar strings are humming, firelight aglow. Legacy Forgers, it's time to let go. For tonight we dive deep into realms unknown. With plant medicine's guidance, our spirits have grown. Tribe experience calls as the stars do shine. In this quantum dance, the universe is thine. Dragons we have battled, demons we've defied. Through the darkest valleys and mountains we've climbed. Now we stand united, warriors of the heart. For love is our armor, and this is just the start. Dragons we have battled, demons we've defied. Through the darkest valleys and mountains we've climbed. Now we stand united, warriors of the heart. For love is our armor, and this is just the start. dance as the fire crackles near. Laughter and some tears as we conquer our fear. Epic is the journey of the soul's wild ride. With the legacy forged, we take it all in stride. For tonight we ascend to dimensions so vast, embracing the future, honoring the past. Tribe experience beckons as the flames dance high. In this cosmic embrace, we touch the sky.
Oh, well, that was because I was tired. So, thank you for watching, everyone. Have a beautiful rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.